So every spring we take joy in announcing the winners of the various Teacher of the Year programs across Delaware. It's these programs that give the top teachers the recognition that they certainly deserve. Most winners awarded with prizes and opportunities during the following year, but at least one teacher is taking the honor and making it work for the students. Please welcome this afternoon Sussex Technical High School teacher. This is Ginny Forcucci, who also happens to be the 2018 State Teacher of the Year for Delaware.
Thank you.
I want you to welcome Sussex Tech senior Eliane Rodriguez, and this is sophomore Selena Lombardi. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon.
Thank you. Thanks for having us. Thank you.
That is awesome.
It's an incredible honor. It's unbelievable, to be honest with you.
What was it like when you found out?
I was at Dover Downs, huge number of people, thousands of people in a room, and there were teachers from every district in the state of Delaware represented, so you don't think you're going to win. I didn't have a speech written. I was there with my husband, who's also an educator. We met at Sussex Tech High School, so we fell in love and then got married, and our children went to the daycare center at Sussex Tech, so our whole family is involved at Sussex Tech. It is a family affair. I think of these young people as my children. And so my husband was with me, dear friends of mine and supporters and colleagues were there as well, and so when they called my name, I was surprised I didn't fall over trying to walk up to the podium. Secretary Bunty and Governor Carney were there to congratulate me, and it was just, from that second on, it's been a whirlwind.
That is fantastic.
It is fantastic. It's exciting.
And it is National Teachers Week, so thank you for what you do.
Thank you.
And there was something you just shared with me about some work that you helped with.
Yes, all of the Teachers of the Year meet a few times throughout the year from all over the nation. Right. And so Google was fantastic enough to sponsor a trip to California for all of us, and we met on the Google campus for several days. And one of the things Google let us do was create their doodle. Right. So when you go onto the Google page today, when you go onto the search engine, you see the word Google. The artistry was created by all of the Teachers of the Year. Yeah. So that's pretty cool.
What did you work on?
I was the big G. I was the big G. There were several of us on a team who worked on the big G. So big G in the house, that's who's here.
That is awesome. That is very,
It is
cool.
awesome.
So as Teacher of the Year, tell us about some of the programs that you work on.
You mentioned Educators Rising, and so Selena is a student who's involved in Educators Rising. Educators Rising is an organization that is really trying to recruit the best and the brightest into the field of education. As we all know, it is one of the most noble professions. These are our future leaders. These are our policymakers and our advocates for children of the future. And so I take it really seriously. And so Educators Rising prepares them and gets them excited. There are more programs that need to be put into place. We want a partnership with the University of Delaware and some other post-secondary institutions. But for now, I think it's like a great place to start. We're still working to improve and recruit. There's a teacher shortage all over the nation. And so we need to change that. We need to change that. There's also a program that is really dear to my heart called Pathways to Success. And Faye Blake is the executive director as well as founder. And her mantra is care, consistent, authentic, respectful empowerment. And we're working in that organization throughout Sussex County to elevate voices, and voices that are sometimes marginalized. And so we're working really hard to give those young people platforms.
That's awesome.
I just want to highlight the work that they do. They're
fantastic.
Thank you for doing
it. Thank you for being
pleasure.
a part of it. All right, you told us a little bit about Selena. Why is Eliane here?
Eliane just makes my heart feel good. Eliane is a senior, and he is in one of my super accelerated lit and composition courses, and he has a work ethic that is unparalleled, and if I talk much longer I'll get tears in my eyes, which they're used to because I cry all the time. But he represents hard work, and he represents commitment, and it's an honor for me to be sitting here with him.
So Eliane, tell me, what do you see in her that you like so much that you want to emulate?
She's just awesome as a teacher. Yeah. Like, I consider myself as a lucky person to learn a lot from her since 10th grade. I didn't get a chance to do creative writing with her, but I got to also have her husband, Mr. Forcucci, my 11th grade year. Right. And just comparing both of them together was just, I can't even explain myself really.
You want to grow up to be like her.
Yeah, I feel like I'm gonna cry myself too because I just see her. Every time I see her, I think of my mother. I think of my mother, and I learn a lot from my mother at home, as much as I learn a lot from her in the classroom.
This is why the relationship between teacher and student is so unique and so incredible, because of what you guys do for each other. And it's wonderful to see. Thank you again. Thank you again. So, Selena, you're thinking about becoming a future educator.
I am.
Why?
Well, I mean, I really want to be an advocate for children of the future, and I think that their voices, as Ms. Fercucci said, need to be heard. And I don't know, Ms. Fercucci is an inspiration. She's a role model. She's everything to me, as I want to be to children as well.
Set the example, didn't you?
I try. I mean, but it's easy. I mean, look at them. I get to spend my days with these beautiful people, and they just make me better. Right. I know I'm a better human because of the relationships I've established with kids.
So you just got back from a trip in Washington.
I did. That was crazy.
Now, this is the first time anybody's talked to you since this trip, is that right?
You are my first interview since returning from Washington.
So what happened? What'd you do?
I don't know if we have enough time, so I will give you the highlights. CCSSO is responsible for, again, they took us to California. And I'm sorry, CCS? It's the chief officers who handle the National Teacher of the Year program.
Okay, gotcha.
And so the National Teacher of the Year was announced this past week. Mandy Manning from Washington State, who works with immigrants and refugees, is fearless and amazing and stands for everything that the cohort supports and believes in. Right. And so we met with Secretary DeVos. We met in the White House. President Trump honored us. And then we had this, like, a girl from Felton, Delaware isn't supposed to be at the Pence's house at the Naval Observatory.
The Vice President?
I was with Mike Pence and Karen Pence, Vice President Pence, and Karen Pence let us into their home. She let us pet their family bunny. That was like... and we got to walk the grounds. And one of the most special moments for me that day is Joe Biden, as a person from Delaware. Joe Biden had purchased a swing for Jill Biden, and there was a little plaque on a tree that says, "Joe loves Jill." And I got to sit on the swing with my husband behind me and capture that moment. And that, you know, Delaware's a tiny little state. Yeah. And so for it to be a huge part of those grounds, and to be able to walk those grounds and see my state represented meant the world. So the Pences were incredibly gracious, and you know, she's a former educator. Right. So it was fantastic. But what most came out of that week is the collective voice of our cohort. We are advocating for change and progress in a way that I didn't know I was ever going to be able to do.
I'm glad you said that, because I want to ask you, what can we as parents do to help our teachers?
I think that parents need to be aware of what's happening in the classrooms. I think they need to reach out to teachers. I think that sometimes parents assume that everything happening in the classroom is ideal, and sometimes it isn't. Right. And we need to be aware of what's happening in our classrooms. I'm also a mother of 2 boys, and so I have both perspectives, right? As a mom and as a teacher. Parents need to be involved. The community advocacy for students, volunteerism, getting in there when possible. Now, that's not easy for everyone. Right. Not everyone can make their way into the schools. And so teachers need to reach out as well. It is a teacher's job to foster connections with families. I had a young person who broke his femur the other night, Jordan, and I called his mom just to say, like, hey, how's he doing? Yeah. When he was being taken out in a helicopter, he was like, Mrs. Fercucci's going to be really mad that I'm missing her class. So I was like really sort of humbled that that was his thought as he's being like taken away to you know, to be fixed. So it's a partnership. Yeah. And we need, for these young people to be successful, we need family and school partnerships.
I could sit and talk to you guys all day long.
I
want you to know that.
I know.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Jenny,
Thanks.
thank you so much. Selena, look forward to you being a teacher. Elian, thank you so much for coming in. It's wonderful talking to you guys. Talk to your teachers. Talk to your teachers.